From Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice to Nicholas Sparks' The Notebook, romance novels fill our hearts, ignite our passions, and help us consider the nature of love in a new light. There are many ingredients to a great romance novel, and first-time romance writers will need all of them to tell an effective story. While romance may seem like the easiest genre to write, it is definitely not. The average romance reader is smart, discerning, and not easily impressed. To create a successful romance, it takes a thoughtful strategy. It won't just happen magically. Let's discuss what you need to know to create a romance novel that makes the reader fall in love and then tell her friends about it. Let's take a look at the types of romance subgenres. First, we have contemporary romance. One of the largest subgenres of romance, contemporary romance is often set in the time it's written, encompassing the time after World War II all the way to the present. Contemporary romances reflect the current conventions of a more recent time period, giving the genre a more modern approach. Next in line is the erotic romance. Romance novels in which strong, often explicit, sexual interaction is an inherent part of the love story, character growth and relationship development, and could not be removed without damaging the storyline. These novels may contain elements of other romance subgenres, such as paranormal, historical, etc. Historical romance. Historical romance novels are set before 1945 and rely on the accurate portrayal of the period. Everything that occurs or exists in a historical romance is affected by the limitations of that era, and attention to details is an integral part of the writing process as well. Romantic suspense. Romantic suspense novels combine mystery and thriller elements with the main relationship of the plot. Two love interests must solve a crime or uncover a secret together, with one character serving as the victim, and the other as the protector. In romantic suspense, the pacing of the romantic story often dovetails with the pacing of the premise, providing a satisfying blend of both danger and romance. Lastly, we have young adult. Young adult romance novels showcase the lives of young people and often contain dramatic romantic themes. Key elements of romance. Introduce the love interest. So, how do you create the perfect love interest for your protagonist? Don't make him perfect. Make him imperfect. The protagonist shouldn't immediately love him, or, even if she does, there should be something that gives her pause, age, relationship, etc. Make the reader fall in love with him, too. It's not enough for the heroine to love him, the reader needs to get it. Make the reader care about both main characters. Take your time to create rounded and realistic characters. In other words, don't just objectify the hero. He should have faults but a true admiration for the heroine. And he should have a growth arc through the story as well. What's the motivation? What is driving these two characters in a collision course with each other? For this, you'll need to know the background for each character. It's an important part of the process for character creation in any genre but holds special significance in the romance genre. Motivation is the reason why a character does something. It can be something they believe about themselves, something they believe about the other person, or something they want to happen or not happen. Motives are usually born in the backstory. The reason why a character opts for one course of action over another is based on something that the reader may not know but you should definitely know. Romance tropes exist for a reason. We've all read stories in which best friends become lovers, or in which love is forbidden due to class, station, or family affiliation. These romance plots consistently engage romance readers, and you shouldn't be afraid to include them in your novel. However, if you spend your whole writing career rehashing the same tropes with every new book, readers may become bored and disinterested. Character development through love scenes. If you're writing your first romance novel, you may find it hard to strike the right balance when writing your intimate scenes. If the too overt, you may alienate readers, but if the too tame, the readers may leave disappointed. They should advance the plot or show character development in some way. Just like in real life, characters are often at their most vulnerable during these scenes, and seeing the way that they act can tell us a lot about them. Don't neglect secondary characters. While the main couple is obviously where most of your characterization focus should be, secondary characters are critical to a well-rounded romance. After all, when the heroine's agonizing over her hot and cold text conversation with the hero, who's she going to ask for advice? Secondary characters fill out the world of your romance novel. Friends, family, neighbors, co-workers, and even arch-enemies, say, someone who's competing with one of your main characters for the other character's interest, all contribute to making the story come to life. A happy ending. You need to create a satisfying ending to your novel. If you don't, it will completely ruin the story for your reader and, perhaps worse, discourage them from reading any other romance novel you publish in the future. That's not good. The best plot is the one where the boy gets the girl at the end. So, no matter what it takes to get your characters to this ending, make it happen. The ending of your novel should also tie up any loose threads that you weave throughout the narrative. Again, romance readers want to be fully immersed in the story, and that immersion suffers if they're left wondering about questions you posed but never answered. The only exception to this is the question of what will happen to the secondary characters who have great chemistry, because, of course, you might be setting them up for a sequel. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned and subscribe to watch the next episode of The Writing Process. Happy writing!